Welcome to Optimal Play. I'm Brandon.
I'm Steven.
And we're back to preview another card from the Scarlet Keys expansion of Arkham Horror. We heard your feedback loud and clear on the last video. Yes, Pool, no Kyle.
Exactly.
So we brought Steven along for this one. And Steven, it's time to do some science.
What?
Yeah.
I dropped out of college, so I didn't have to do that anymore.
Well, sorry to break it to you. We're doing that. Let's dive right into our card. Make sure not to spill this in the pool. That would be a disaster.
Yeah. Oh.
What do we got?
We have an Alchemical Distillation. It's a 2-cost assets item in science. It reminds me a lot of the Dunwich, the like alchemical thing in there in the university scenario.
Yeah, there have been. Oh, right, the alchemical concoction, I think.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like just the strange solution too.
Yeah.
I don't know if you said yet that this was a Seeker card, but
Oh yes, this is a Seeker card.
Yes,
it's all, orange all over it.
it's part of the time-honored Seeker trend of vials of stuff.
Yes, exactly. Being nerdy. So it's customizable. It uses 3 supplies. You can spend an action to spend a supply to choose an investigator at your location and test intellect 1. If you succeed, that investigator performs one of the following options: either draw 2 cards or gain 2 resources.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a pretty basic utility card so far. Have you seen enough previews to know what customizable means?
Yeah, you can make like cards waterproof or make it so that they float.
I wish. Yeah. But yeah, it's a keyword that means refer to this additional card. Why put it on the, why do it in post when you can just hold it up to the camera, right? There's lots of ways that we can spend experience to upgrade this. To really, I like that here because I feel like better than ever this delivers on like the mad scientists kind of flavor, right? Like you have this weird, what is it, distillation that then you can experiment with. You can modify in a bunch of different ways. Like, for 1 experience, you can add a mending distillate, which adds the option to heal 2 damage. For 1 experience, you can add the calming distillate, which adds the option to heal 2 horror.
So I guess Carolyn can't take this though because it doesn't start with healing horror. Or I guess you could take it, but she'd have to use a secret slot.
Let's circle back to that. We'll touch on, because we've learned some details about the customizable cards, how they work. I think I know the answer, but we'll. That's a good question. Enlightening Distillate lets you add the option to place 1 charge or secret on an asset you control. Quickening Distillate lets you add the option to move up to 2 times. So far, these have all been 1 experience. Then for 2 experience, you can refine the distillation so that it enters play with 2 additional supplies on it, which brings it up to what, 5 total?
Yep.
Okay. For 4 experience, you can empower it, which says when you initiate the skill test, you may increase its difficulty by 2. But if you do, increase the value of the effect granted by each option by 1 for this test. Which is a very wordy way of saying, like, do 1 more of the thing.
You can test 3 and draw 4.
Yeah, exactly. And then for 5 experience, you can perfect the distillation, which says if you succeed by 2 or more, the chosen investigator may perform 2 different options instead of 1.
For just 1 supply, or do you have to spend 2 supplies?
I think for just 1 supply. Yeah, choose 2 options. So if that's all you've done, it would be draw 2 cards, gain 2 resources, which is solid. But you can also modify that with all these other options. What do you think?
It's a lot of stuff that Seekers already do.
Yeah.
I guess they're generally a lot better at drawing cards than gaining resources, so maybe the resource part is exciting.
Yeah, and I'm glad to have them have some extra healing options. But all in all, I'd say, and I've seen 4 or 5 other customizable cards previewed so far. I would say, live recording. We got planes overhead. I would say this is probably the least interesting one, right? It's like it fills a very basic utility role that is probably. I think this is probably a good card, but it is not that exciting a card. That said, like I'm definitely gonna want to play with all the customizable toys. I'll try it out.
I was shocked that none of the upgrades was to make it not cost a hand slot, because Seekers have so many good things. That they want to do with their hand slots.
It does cost a hand slot. Yeah, it feels like it shouldn't. You're right. This is.
Or I mean, it feels like that's an easy thing. Oh, spend a couple XP. It's not a hand slot.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's a big downside.
Yeah, I find that generally I'm either using lots of mag glasses or lots of tomes or fingerprint kits. There's so much good stuff.
And then interestingly, and I guess this makes sense so that when it puts charges or secrets on an asset you control, it doesn't just replenish itself. but it uses supplies, which is not usually something Seeker can
Yeah.
add a lot of or manipulate. You need to like splash Rogue usually, right, to do things like double the number of supplies on an asset. So there's not a lot of funny business to be done, I don't think, with it.
And if you make it give other things secrets, you're not doing anything else, right? Or you get to do both.
You're only doing, yeah, that's all you're doing, unless you have perfected it so you get to choose 2 options.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is a charge or secret on an asset, so it's just one when you choose that. And then yeah, so to touch on kind of the details we learned about customizable since the article where they were introduced, this card is considered to be the level equal to half the experience you've spent at upgrading it.
Mm-hmm.
So it starts level 0, but once you've checked 4 boxes on here, it's a level 2 card, which is kind of the cap for a lot of investigators splashing it, right? And then you can add it to your deck with some of the upgrades. You don't have to like spend a game with it level 0. So I'm thinking, to get back to your question about Carolyn, I'm thinking that if you immediately add the Heal 2 Horror text to it, then she can take it without using a secret slot, right?
Well, I guess so. Okay, here's a question with customizable. Can you, if you don't have it in your initial deck, can you spend 1 XP or 2 XP to like make it a level 1 card to add, or do you first have to spend 1 XP to put it in your deck the way you would when you swap in a level 0 card normally?
I think if you, that's a great question. I don't know the answer to that. And I don't remember the rules touching on it. I would think that if you're spending at least 1 experience upgrading it immediately, then you're not also paying the cost of a level 0 swap. But I don't know that for a fact. Let us know in the comments if you know.
I would think the opposite, but
Interesting. Yeah, I could see it going either way, but I guess I've always thought of that level 0 swap fee as like, it's a 1 experience minimum to put a new card in your deck, right? And as long, in my mind, as long as you're meeting the minimum by spending 1 on this in another way, that should take care of the fee. But yeah, that's a great question. Well, any other parting thoughts?
No, it's cool art. Definitely in favor of doing more scientific experience, and Arkham, they always go very well. So.
Yeah, without a doubt. Very cool. We'll be back in this pool again in about 2 weeks for more previews. This is the 2nd of 6 total that we have. So follow, subscribe, like. Follow is different. You don't follow on YouTube, huh? Find somewhere to follow us. We're everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
And until
his
next time.
address is 15.
Yeah, come to the pool party for only for Optimal Fan subscribers. Optimal Fan. Damn it, Kyle is getting inside my head. Optimal Play subscribers. There is no Optimal Fans. Don't listen to any of us. All right.
If you are paying for an Optimal Fans, that is not official.
Yes.
So Kyle is just pocketing your money.
All right. Thanks for watching. Till next time, be optimal.